For the last activity in SimNet that you'll complete each week, you'll be doing the project. Now remember in the SimBook, there are projects listed at the end of that, and I said you don't need to worry about those. This is the one that you need to complete for extra for your SimNet chapters each week. And you'll want to look for the chapter that you're working on. The due date will also be a clue as to what project you need to complete for that week. Notice too that does say practice in the tile, but that practice is referring to the name of the textbook that we're using, which is Excel 2016 in practice. It doesn't mean that it's an optional activity like the SimPath, practice SimPath, and the practice exam, which are optional, not required. Okay, so once you find the project that you're working on, and notice I've already submitted this one, so it gives me a little submitted button at the bottom. You can submit a project up to 3 times, and I will enter the highest grade in iLearn. So it's really advantageous for you to work through a project and fix any errors that SimNet found and correct those errors, and then upload it again to improve your overall score. Okay, so clicking on the project here, what you need to do first is find the instruction file that fits the system of Excel that you're working on. If you're using Excel 2013 or Excel 2016 for PC, that's the version that you want. If you're using a Mac, this is the version of the instruction file that you want. I've got some opened here already, and it downloads it into a PDF format. And the nice thing about the instruction sheet is it gives you step-by-step, and it will also provide screenshots that show you how the workbook should be looking as you are progressing through the steps. And they can also give you clues, these screenshots. At the very end, which is super helpful, it will give you a screenshot of what the project should look like once you're completed. And if yours doesn't look like that, then you might want to do some tweaking or figure out where you went wrong. Okay, once you complete the project, then you're going to want to upload it into SimNet for grading. And you do that by clicking on your upload file. Now this file right here is just the start file. I've made no changes to it, but just for illustration to show you how that grading will work. It'll say, are you ready for saving or grading? And you say, yeah, I'm ready. Let's submit the file. Let's go for this. So it will go through and check your worksheet against what's in the code as how it should look, and it will highlight any errors. Now, one thing to be aware of as you go through these projects, sometimes you'll complete something and it will look just fine, especially when we're using formulas, because there are different ways to write the formulas, and SimNet will mark it wrong. Or if you're using like the Spanish version of Excel, it will mark it wrong if it sees any text that differs from what it's coded to recognize. So in these instances, this is another time when you get a project grade from SimNet and it marks you things wrong that you know are correct because it looks right, but it's just maybe the way you did it was slightly different than how it's coded for SimNet to recognize. So that's another instance where you can put a note in the comment section for your project. Upload your project file so I can take a look at it too, and I can restore a point or two as long as it's correctly done, even if it's in a different manner than SimNet was looking for. Okay, so here you'll see on the left hand side it lists all of the errors I have, where I went wrong, what my current percentage score is, and that's the score that I will enter in iLearn. And then if I click these little arrows, it'll give me a little more information about where I went wrong. So what I can do then is I can download that submitted file and start to work again to figure out what happened and how I can fix it. And then once I'm there, once I'm ready to upload again my file, I can click on this little heading here to go back to that upload screen. And again, I have no more attempts, so I can't upload it again, but you can upload it up to 3 times. And now you're not going to have a little delete attempt thing here. That's because I'm the instructor and I have that instructor privilege, so I can reload my exam my project more than 3 times. But what happens after you do the 3 attempts? I will then take the highest score earned and enter that into iLearn. So please take advantage of that opportunity and also complete your project in advance enough of the deadline that you can submit it more than once and make changes, because once that deadline gets closer, you're going to run out of time and not be able to use that opportunity, and you'll be stuck with whatever score you have. But if you complete it, a day or at least a few hours before the deadline, that will give you some time before the deadline comes to allow you to submit more than once and make any changes.